Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great Plains here for at the Kansas Speedway here for the second race of round 16 for the SSR Sweet Tea Gang Truck Series. Well, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead commentator here, and in the booth with me, also your head producer here, Gavin Austin in booth. How you doing tonight, Gavin?
I'm great, Christian. I'm excited for this awesome race we're going to have take place tonight here at Kansas. I think we're going to see a lot of action, a lot of great racing. We got a decent sized field tonight, 18 drivers registered at the moment. And I'm just excited for how this race is going to play out. I think we'll see some strategy.
Yeah, definitely strategy is going to be a big thing here at Kansas with how these trucks drive. There has been an update when it comes to, the handling of these trucks. For a long time it just seemed like these were kind of like super speedways with tire wear, but now they actually have made these mile and a half a little bit more difficult to drive here. And obviously Kansas is a little bit different where, a lot of the time you want to save your tires on the bottom and stuff like that, where at Kansas you only have the cars at the top is kind of a more preferable line here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Multi-groove track, indeed. We'll see guys trying to run the middle, the inside, the top. Very very interesting with what we're going to see tonight. Lots of stuff going on track right now, though. Multiple drivers sitting down their last couple practice laps while we're approaching 30 seconds left in practice right now. William McKellar, that 75 Chevy machine, a couple wins up his sleeve this season.
Yeah, you see McKellar there in the 75 having a really great, consistent season, really kind of doing what he needs to do to be up front here. We've seen him make a couple mistakes obviously, but when you're up here racing for training, that's something you gotta do. You gotta race with your elbows out and kind of race for yourself, right? Here in a lot of like they're all in the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, so a lot of these guys just come out here. They're kind of racing for themselves. They don't have a teammate to lean on to help them out in a lot, so they just kind of have to lean on each other and stuff like that. And now McKellar fifth in points here, 32 points behind your points leader, Joe Hudson. So right now your points as it stands, Joe Hudson, Lane Phillips, Brandon Honeycutt, Brandon Sanfilippo, and William McKellar after your first race of the round of 16 at Bristol.
Yeah, very very interesting. Points are pretty close. Those front two, front three drivers. So I think it's going to be very interesting heading into Kansas and what's going to go on in their minds strategy wise. Um, but yeah, once again, very very interesting. Trucks now getting on the track to begin their laps. Lane Phillips, number 6 machine, very fast driver. Like Christian said, I believe second in points.
Lane is second in points, yeah. So yeah, good. He needs to have a good run here to propel him into next week for the rest of the playoffs. With only one more race after this one in the playoffs here, he really needs to have a good run here. He just really needs to finish right now. He is, it looks like, quite a few points above the he's way above when it comes to so he needs a pretty decent race here, and he should be locked into the next round going into next week here. So you see him right now kind of running the top here on this first lap here, and you're going to see probably a lot of these trucks run the top here and then maybe try to run that bottom on the second lap, kind of super speedway style.
Yeah, it looks like Lane Phillips going for that second lap. So he's on his first lap right now, but he's just ripping that top lane, trying to carry as much speed as he can heading into his second lap. So yeah, this will be the start of the second lap right here.
Second lap, let's see where he goes here. He does choose that bottom here, so he's trying to get a good run off the top that first lap. Going to try to carry all that speed down the straight here right now. Currently, Lane Phillips P4 with that first lap. He can improve on that lap on the second time around.
Yeah, very very interesting. He's, that left.
Coming out of 3 and 4 here. That's going to move Lane to the 6th place spot here. So Lane actually loses a couple spots here. Not the best second lap he wants here, but right now, currently, John Fowler, he took a couple of weeks off from the Truck Series, the Cup Series, just racing in general for SSR. He's your currently your pole sitter here with a 30.636. So what a lap by that number 94 machine.
Yeah, what a lap indeed. Great lap by him. And so many talented drivers here in this field tonight. We've seen them throughout the season. And it's just, you know, throughout this entire season, it just gets better and better racing-wise. And we've seen strategy throughout many races, and it's just so impressive watching these drivers each week.
No, I definitely agree, and it's fun to see also that you've seen a lot of growth, especially in the truck series. You see some of these guys like Fowler, like McKellar, like San Filippo, right, really grow, and now to where they're consistently, you know, a top 5, top 10 car. Some of these guys didn't really have the best pace at the start of the year, and now they're starting to figure out this truck and figure out, you know, the sim in general. And it's really nice to see some of these guys start to be a little bit more competitive compared to their counterparts here.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
See right now, James McRae on track.
Yeah, James McRae, we're watching him on track right now in turn 3 and 4 in that Toyota number 7 machine. I believe this is first lap. So coming to the checkered his first lap, we're going to see where that puts him. Currently 15th, but that lap will put him up in 7th. So 7th is first lap, now in his second lap, trying to get a little bit faster with a minute left in qualifying. As he's going to pull it off, and he's going to take that lap. So James McRae currently 7th on the board as he's going to park it on pit road.
It looks like the only person, it looks like every driver has set a lap here. So kind of a first here in the truck series. Everybody has came down and set a lap down, and we're good to go here for qualifying.
Yeah, man. Qualifying goes by fast, man, at a track like this, too. You know, such fast pace, such fast speed by all of these drivers, really. And it's just so fascinating. Like, I can't say it. Like, I say it so much. It's just all these talent. The talent all these drivers have is just unreal.
Yeah, and with 5 seconds left in qualifying here, it looks like John Fowler will lock out your pole sitter, your pole with a 30.63. So good lap by him, barely edging out Joe Hudson, your current points leader, who's going to slide outside for a row here.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So we are going to let the drivers get on the grid, and then we'll bring up their starting positions in one quick moment.
I'm just gonna wait on all these drivers to get their trucks ready. Remember, before the start of the race, you know, these drivers have a lot of tools that they can use to adjust the truck. You know, adjust the track bar, adjust the brake bias, adjust the steering ratio. Because, you know, a lot of drivers will adjust that depending on, you know, how they want to do for qualifying. Some people will have a specific steering ratio, a specific set they want to use for qualifying. They get that a little bit more out of the truck, and then this will give them time to, you know, maybe change that steering ratio back to a 10-1 or a 12-1 or whatever that is. So as we wait on these trucks to get in, and then we will get ready to start your starting lineup here. So John Fowler, your pole sitter there. I think that's his first pole of the season here in the SSR Truck Series. So great pull for him. Joe Hudson going to be outside front row. William McKellar in that number 75, great run for him throughout the season here. He's going to be starting at third with Brandon Sanfilippo in fourth place. You see Cody DeForge, really good run last night in the Xfinity Series. Unfortunately got caught up in a wreck. He's going to be starting in the P5 spot with Lane Phillips rounding out that row 3. James McRae in the number 7 machine has a couple wins under his belt here in the Sweet Tea Gang Truck Series. He's going to be starting in P7. And Joey Katina back in the SSR League, starting in 8th.
Heading into row 5, we got Colin Johnson in that number 15 machine. And right next to him is Barry Stevens. Heading into row 6, we got Brennan Honeycutt and Ira Colas in the number 29 machine. Ira has the speed every week late in the race. Heading in the row 7, Bryce Dickinson and Ron Hollyfield. 24 machine. Row 8, Ty Dickinson and Brandon Ish. In row 9, Sam Colas and James Smith. And our last driver for the night is John Ross in that 44 machine. And that's going to round off our starting grid for tonight's race here at Kansas.
It's 120 laps here at Kansas, so kind of a similar amount that, you know, kind of the Xfinity Series runs a lot. The Xfinity Series ran 140 laps at Charlotte last night, so just slightly underneath what the Xfinity Series ran here, but 120 laps here, no joke here. I mean, these drivers are going to have to be very consistent, especially with how this track runs. With the high sides, they're going to have to be very consistent. Keep that truck out of the wall, and we'll see who can do it here. But Chevy Toyota front row here, as we're going to get ready to leave the green for the first time. Pace car is off.
Green.
The restart zone, and we are green here from Kansas. Turn 4, that number 94 is going to lead the first lap here, but here comes the 49 on the outside with a huge run.
Yellow.
It's side by side there, but it is side by side for that P2 spot.
Our first yellow, James McRae, is involved. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but first yellow, lap 1, heavy damage to both the front and the rear end of that car. We see, oh my goodness, Lane Phillips also involved. As we're going to try to get a look at it real quick. See in turn 4, it's like Lane Phillips. Oh, Lane Phillips just lost it on his own. The 7, nowhere to go. Man.
Looks like he might have got a little help from the 24, but not enough that you would kind of put blame on him. But you see the 6 and the 7 I think that's Joey Katina, yeah. Joey Katina in the 14 new to the truck series. At least for the side of some contact.
I believe that might have been the 21.
From the 13.
From the 13, yeah, contact from Brennan Honeycutt. 21 took a slide as well. So multi-truck incident early on in this race on lap 1. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely what some of these drivers want to see. No faster pairs in the truck series, so you're definitely going to see some guys come down there and fix those damage. You're going to see, you know, the 7, the 6. So it looks like the 21 down pit road as well. See the 21 of Ron Hollifield down pit road. You already see Joey Katina has already decided to pack it up for the night. A lot of damage for that number 14 machine, and just looks like too much for him to handle here.
Yeah, very unlucky for really all those drivers involved. I mean, Lane Phillips, he's not really a driver we see that makes a lot of mistakes week in and week out, and making a mistake lap 1 is something we just don't see from him much, and it's very shocking seeing him make that mistake, definitely this early on. So sucks for both Lane Phillips and all the drivers he collected.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's part of Kansas. It's part of these trucks. Remember, the trucks do drive different than they have for a long time here. So it's going to be an adjustment for some of these guys. These mile and a halves are a lot more tricky to drive than they used to be. Where, as we mentioned in the pre-race show, it's kind of full throttle, and then you kind of have to manage the tires. Now you actually have to lift and actually kind of drive the truck now and actually manhandle it a little bit more. And you're going to see drivers tend to struggle just a little bit more than you normally would see, you know, in the last year from last season here in the iRacing. And you just saw that right there. Lane out of turn 4 just tried to get a little bit too much out of that truck, and you saw him just unfortunately lose it on his own. Collect a couple of trucks with him.
yeah, a couple of trucks involved in that incident. And man, it's weird seeing something happen that early on. And, yeah, once again, just sucks for all those drivers involved.
And luckily, it's early in the race, lap 2 of 120. So, a long ways to go for these guys. You know, there's going to be a lot of time to get that damage fixed and everything else. So, it is what it is here. So,
yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah. So multiple drivers we saw went into pit road. The 7 being one of them, James McCray trying to fix that damage, and Lane Phillips as well. And you know they're just trying to fix as much damage as they can. And yeah, it's super weird, as we are gonna go, I believe, 1 to green here.
lights on the pace car are off. Once again, John Fowler, lead racer, Joe Hudson, P2, McKellar, P3, and San Filippo, top 4. And you can see Cody DeForge round out your top 5 here. So obviously the front hasn't really changed that much.
Yeah, it hasn't really changed at all, really. It's kind of the same drivers up front that started off this race, still with the 94 out front. And, yeah, still nothing really changed just quite yet. As once again, we are 1 to green here. We are going to go green in just a second.
You see the lights on the pace car off, going through turn 3 and 4, so we'll make that hard left turn here. And you can see the 94 and the 49 teammates here, both Chevy. So Chevy front row here with a Chevy front 4, really. So lights on the pace car off, down pit road.
Green, 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 green.
Restart zone once again, and John Fowler will restart.
At Kansas, the 94, great start. Ended up clearing the 49. Heading into turn 1 and 2 now.
The 94 getting pressure from the 49 now. McKellar trying to look underneath the 94 now. You're going to see the 94 rip the wall here. Versus the other two who's going to go bottom. McKellar's going to try to take it here.
So
at the bottom. Take that lead back. McKellar's up to P2.
Yeah, very close racing early on. McKellar up to that second position, trying to fight for that lead here early on.
Yeah, you're going to see McKellar. He's going to be one of those drivers. We're going to be up there aggressive, trying to lead as many laps as he can. And he's someone who's not afraid to he's up to stuff to get to the front. You already see that now. He's trying to pressure the front while everybody else is kind of super fire.
McKellar running that ball on the outside. We've seen him do it week in and week out. We saw him last week at Bristol. Ran the outside, which was the fast lane. He led most of the laps, but ended up burning his tires just a little bit. As now he's on the outside of the 49 for the lead. Too wide for the lead. Goes McKellar on the outside.
Run the apron here. Maybe side by side. 75 with the momentum off the top here. You see the 49 when they run the bottom here. You're going to probably see the 75 clear with the run off the top.
A little bit of a slide from the 75. Maybe had to check up a little bit, but he still has the race leading. He's kind of pulling away, racing the gap little by little here in turn 3 and 4, 49, trying to do everything he can. That's Joe Hudson.
Wants to do here right now. I think it's not the time to kind of fight here. You got try to fight here. You're gonna have that 94 up your tail here, as he already is.
Yeah, 94 right on his butt. We're going to see maybe he's going to go for the move here, as he doesn't really have the run to do so, but he's right there. You know, he's right on the rear bumper with that 49. Well, that kind of gives the chance for McKellar to pull away just a tiny bit here.
To try to get out there and extend this gap here versus everybody else. So I feel like it's going to be trying to run a pace here versus McKellar, who's just going to try to go as fast as he can here, running that bottom right now. So McKellar, well, I'm not surprised trying to gap this field. It's losing Kane right here. That behind 20.
Yeah, it's really a three-car battle for, I mean, really that second, third position. It's between the 49, the 94, and now the 16's up there trying to compete for the action in that Ford machine. So it's pretty much, you know, the top three is all Chevys. Top four is all Chevys. Sorry, my apologies. And man, yeah, crazy racing this early on, and yeah, we're seeing it right here.
That's just the, you know, the excitement that this track is. There's a lot of exciting stuff. You know, you're going to force to run the top here, and really allows guys to kind of do some side jobs and stuff. It's really exciting. Right now we have a battle for the P5 spot. Cody the Ford's under attack by Colin Johnson. I mean, there's Brandon Honeycutt who's right behind them also.
Yeah, Colin Johnson, we saw ran Bristol last week and did surprisingly well. I believe he started on the front row. Had a decent race and was involved in a couple of incidents, but really behind him, it's pretty much him, and you see all those cars behind him, single file. Yeah, huge racing so far. It's so entertaining. So we see the 84 now looking on the inside of, I believe that is Brandon Ish. And he doesn't have a number on his truck, but he is the 19 here at Kansas State.
Yeah, that is Brandon Ish. And that black and blue Johnston Strong machine there. But around a bit away from Bryce Wilson here, but still, it's like a battle. Now, Ty Dickinson going after James Smith.
Ty Dickinson.
11th place spot here. He'll take it.
Yeah, ends up clearing the 10, and now he has Lane Phillips right in front of him, who we saw made that big mistake lap 1. Lane Phillips still has a little bit of that side damage, which could interfere him a little bit with that side skirt damage as well. It affects your aero so much in these new trucks, as now he's under attack from Ty Dickinson in the number 67 machine, who's right on his rear bumper.
Back there running at 14. Definitely just affecting the way these trucks are handling. You can definitely tell that they're not as quick as they used to be. And as we see now, Ty Dickinson trying to move this number 6 car in, but you see the 6 trying to run down the 84. Rice is his brother here in that number 84 at function.
Yeah, they that. You know, a very beautiful red chrome looking scheme there. You know, the colors are nice. They shine bright at night. It's super gorgeous. But he's also, you know, he has a 6 behind him, who's trying to make the pass. As he has a run, he's now looking to the inside. Lane Phillips is going to try to make the pass, entering turn 3 and 4 on the inside of the 84 machine now. As they're rolling in 3 and 4, Ford versus Ford for the 9th position, as Lane Phillips gets really tight and has to back out just a little bit and won't be able to make the pass.
Yeah, that's the thing with the you really have that back out of it, and it's really cleaning up one spot. As you see Lane under attack by now, the 67. If you really have to complete that pass there, or you have to really back out of it. Now you see the 13 under trying to go around the 15. Johnston here looking almost 3 wide here, as you see that Brandon Ish trying to get underneath him well. Looks like Colin's just going to let those 2 by. Not the best corner for him.
Yeah, Colin might have made a little bit of a mistake there. In turn 3 and 4, loses not 1 but 2 positions, and now he's under attack from the 84 machine that we were watching earlier, Bryce Dickinson, who's now going on the outside of the 15, as he's going to get a push from Lane Phillips. Lane Phillips backs out just a tiny bit there. But man, crazy racing for the 8th position right now.
Look on on the top here that 84 is going to have to go up there and block that run here. 6 still looks on the outside. Might get to that quarter down going into turn 1. Well, not quite clear. See the 84 run the block. The 6 on the top here. 6 going to get a run off the top here. Side by side going out at turn 2.
Yeah, the 6 has a huge run, ends up clearing the 84. The 84, Bryce Dickinson's, jumps to the outside, kind of letting the 6 pull away just a little bit. So see, he's running against the wall, everyone behind him kind of a lane lower than him, really. And man, crazy racing so far here at Kansas.
I feel like Kansas is one of the more popular tracks on the sim, and it's tracks that, and the popular tracks are the ones you always want to win at here. I feel like as a driver, you know, you go to a Daytona, you go to a Talladega, you go to those types of things, and you always just want to go out there and be competitive because they're the more popular tracks, the more recognizable tracks. So when you go and talk to your family members, like, hey, you know, I just won at, you know, Chicagoland or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, you know, and they're gonna know what you're talking about. So, but Kansas is one of those tracks where, you know, the racing's always good. It's a pretty recognizable track. You know, it's not a lot known for here in the Great Plains State. So, I feel like Kansas is one of those tracks that, you know, everybody wants to come here and be very competitive at.
Yeah, a very competitive track indeed. If we look at the Cup Series finish earlier this year, it was a photo finish between Buescher and Larson. Larson got it by pretty much a nail. And as I'm saying that, McKellar makes his way past really the first lap car we've seen interfere with the leader so far. I shouldn't say interfere, but being caught up from the leader, and that's the 78 of Barry Stevens, who was involved in that incident, has some heavy right front damage on that truck.
I feel like it's just time for him to limp it around here. I mean, he needs to more damage with these trucks, you know, once you get damage, even if you get it completely done here, it's not going to drive the same. It's going to be slow. You see, like, McKellar, I mean, you see McWright and the 6 truck, they have not just been at the same speed of main Phillips as they were, right, up in the top 5 and the top 10. But, so the damage is going to continue to hurt the performance of that truck. But you still see, and as we talked about before, you see that 49 started to rear-lane the race leader here. And also the 94 kind of just tucked in behind the 49, trying to catch the leader with them.
Yeah, the 49 actually gaining McKellar, or catching up to McKellar really fast here. He was around 9/10ths back. Now there's only a 1/10 and a half separating those two drivers right now for the lead. As yeah, the 49 machine is coming pretty quick, and I wouldn't count John Fowler out either. John Fowler right behind the 49 machine in that 94 machine. So John Fowler trying to do everything he can also to try to compete for this lead right now.
I think John's in a really good spot here. You know the 49 is going to catch the 75, and I feel like McCurry's not going to give it up easy here, so they're going to battle it out here, and that's going to allow John to kind of sit back there and watch them burn their stuff up. And once they do, he can pounce and take control of this race here potentially as these two battle it out for the lead there. We know Hudson's a very aggressive driver, and we know McKellar's very aggressive. We're going to see these two probably fight as hard as they can to try to see the 49 duck underneath the 75 going into turn 1.
Yes, we see a little blink out there. But yeah, the 49 right on the tail end of the 75 machine, trying to fight for this lead. And man, great racing so far. And man, we're seeing a lot of it all around the track, and it can't get any better than this.
Yeah, the issue that I see, McKellar's doing a really good job defending here. He knows that top is going to get the run off the corner, and without kind of how much downforce and how kind of bogged down these trucks are, it's going to be hard to make that pass on the bottom. So Joe's going to have to try to find a way to get a run on McKellar and get to his outside here, maybe in the tri-oval or maybe on the backstretch here to give him a chance here. So right now, that bottom is not going to be able to make the pass work.
Yeah, very interesting trying to watch these two drivers trying to battle it out for this lead early on, lap 26 of 120. and there's just a lot of stuff going on right now, and it's super entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, we see a battle back here for the 9th place spot here. Once again, is the 24 super upset there. That's Cody the Forge. What a save by that machine. It looks like he was battling with Brandon Ish for that 6th place spot. Got super upset here. But there is a little battle ensuing for the 9th place spot. There's a whole gaggle of cars, 4-car pack here, battling for this P9 spot.
Yeah, P9 spot. That's the battle between Lane Phillips, who we saw was involved in that incident earlier on. He's in that 8th position. Right behind him is the 67 machine, who, the 10 car,
The 10's
sideways. 10 car, great save on the backstretch as he gets it back rolling straight. Man, what a save by that 10 machine, as the 67 is now still side by side with the 21 machine of Ron Hollyfield for this 9th position, as Ron clears them out of turn 4, and Ron is going to stay in that 9th position.
Now, what happened with there is you saw that it wasn't on camera, but the 84 actually got in the wall there, had to slowly get it off the wall there, and unfortunately made contact with the 10, got the 10 upset, and what a save by James there. But unfortunately, a lot of track position lost there, a lot of time lost there. He's gonna have to get on that horse back there and go, because we know he's fast. He was up there. He caught up to these guys. So, fortunately, his tires aren't gonna be liking that though.
Yeah, as
And now we see the two brothers, Ty and Bryce, battling for the P10 spot here. As you're going to see them go at it. Bryce hit the wall there, and he's going to go around the wall outside again. You see I think that's the 29.
That's a 29 of Ira. Yeah.
He's gotten the ball that time.
Yeah, Ira hard into the outside wall. Slows him down just a tiny bit there. As, man, great racing all around the track. As Bryce Dickinson will make the pass around Ty Dickinson and will get that get that 10th position here at Kansas. Lap 30 of 120. Crazy racing so far.
Now we have to think about fuel strategy real quick and think about how long these guys can go here on a tank of fuel. I'm almost positive that is 80% fuel here, and I'm not. It's either 80% or it's 100%. So they can go anywhere between. Let's see if we can go into my race notes here. 1 second, everybody.
Oh, as the 67 hard in the outside wall.
Go about 50 laps on fuel. He's gonna get in the wall there. No caution though. He does a good job keeping it out of the wall. But you can go about 50 laps on fuel here.
Yeah, 50 laps on fuel. So I do think we'll see some pit stops very shortly.
67 having some issues again here.
Yeah, he had a hard hit into the outside.
That car back and forth.
Yeah, I think we saw him make that huge hit into the outside wall out of turn 2, and I think that damage may be affecting his aero just a tiny bit, and with how that truck handles in the turns, we saw him lose a lot of time and lost a lot of positions after that contact, as he's now back in that 14th position.
You don't see a lot of damage to that truck, but obviously it doesn't take a whole lot to upset the handling of that truck, especially when you just squeal the tires and stuff like that. Especially in the truck, it's going to be hard to cool those tires off, especially in these trucks where you're going to have to use these. You have to kind of pedal these cars around here at these 1.5 mile style of tracks. So he's going to really have to work on saving tire now instead of trying to push forward again here.
The 16 machine, Brandon Sanfilippo, is catching our third place driver of John Fowler little by little, as they're both exiting at turn 2 onto the backstretch now. There's about a truck length and a half separating those two drivers. Now it's fallen back just a little bit. But yeah, battles all over the track really, as Brandon's trying to get up to that top 3 position.
Yeah, John has really fallen off towards the end of this run here. And that's something we've kind of seen with John. He's really good up here at the front. He can go up there and lead laps, but then he really falls off at the end here. just using up his stuff a little bit too much. It's something that he, as a teammate of him, of his in some other leagues, he's trying to work on as much as he can, outside of these league races. And he's, I'll give him an A for effort here, but see him starting to fall off. You see San Filippo now trying to make a battle here, going at it too.
Yeah, tried to get the run there, couldn't quite get it. Get the fastest run there, but he's trying his hardest to get up to the rear end of that 94 machine. Like Christian said, the 94 is falling off just a little bit as the 16 still pulling him in just little by little on the backstretch.
Yeah, once again, I feel like John's doing a good job defending. As long as you can run at the top and keep speed up there without getting in the wall, it's gonna make it pretty difficult for the 16 to pass here. Unless a mistake happens or John gives him the top here, it's gonna be hard for him to give up the spot here. But I also want to shout out the John Fowler. He is running a new scheme here today with the Heart Heroes. He does have a niece or a younger family member who has been in the hospital battling some heart issues there. So he whipped this scheme together and for that family member there. So thoughts and prayers go out to Fowler and all everybody who's involved in that, because obviously that's something terrible that a young child should never have to go through. So thoughts and prayers out to all the Fowler family, and a speedy recovery for that particular person. I feel bad that they're going through that right now, but right now he's doing a good job pulling off that P3 from San Filippo.
Yeah, trying to hold the 16 off as much as he really can here. You see him now entering turn 1 and 2 as, Brandon's like there, but, 2-3 car lengths the difference between those two drivers. And, the 16 is, we've seen him pull him in and then he kind of just drops back. It's like an on and off sequence, which we've kind of seen. Where he's either right there on his rear bumper or, he's not. As the 94 is bringing it onto pit road here on lap 39 of 120 as he's trying to slow it down as fast as possible.
Yeah, as you were talking about,
McKellar.
The 49 of Joe Hudson also took it down pit road. You see the 75 coming down pit road, so green flag pit stops underway here at Kansas.
Yeah, 49 now leaving pit road. McKellar, we see him pulling into his box now. So yeah, lap 40 of 120, everyone really bringing on the pit road. 94, you see him now going into his pit box in front of the 75. So strategy coming into play now here. And man, this is very, very interesting. So you see the 49 making his way around the 29, who's now entering pit road. Ira Colas. We've seen him, week in, week out. He's made his way to the front each week. Really, you see him. Either it's towards the end of the run when strategy comes into play, or towards the end of the race where he just shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, Ira had a good run yesterday in the Xfinity Series here at Charlotte. Led a couple laps early and kind of learned as the race went on. He burned his stuff up and lost a lot of track position, but then learned from that mistake and saved the tires on that last run. Drove up to a P3 spot and was in contention of winning that race, but unfortunately, the 80 machine, had the freshest tires in the field, drove through the field here. But with all this green flag pit stops in the way, that's actually going to hand the race lead over to San Filippo in the 16. He's going to stay out as he comes down pit road here, handing the lead over to now Brandon Honeycutt.
Yeah, Brandon Honeycutt, the 13 machine, taking this lead for the first time today, his first time leading. We saw him out front earlier on. Now you see him ripping that outside wall. He's flying, man.
Yeah, you're going to see some of these guys try to overcut these guys a lot here. I'm not sure how it's going to work here. You see McKellar running right now 30.9s versus Honeycutt's 32.5, so over 2.5 seconds of fall off here. So I'm not sure that the overcut's going to work as much as he thinks it will here. But obviously, when he comes out here, he's going to be flying compared to these guys who put it earlier.
Yeah, Lane Phillips and the 24, both on pit road now. You see the 67, Ty Dickinson as well. A lot of drivers, multiple drivers on pit road. As Lane Phillips is still on pit road. I don't know if he may have had an incident, but currently 3 laps down, might have parked it for some reason. But that's going to affect his playoff points a little bit if he can't get back on the lead lap, as now he's coming out of pit road here.
Yeah, I imagine that Lane knows that he needs to get that truck fixed to be competitive. You know, he saw him; he was definitely off the pace. You can see your race leader in the wall here. But you know, Lane has to probably fix that truck to put himself in a better spot. Yeah, he's gonna go laps down, but all he needs is a couple cautions to put him back in contention. We think that 13's coming down pit road here.
Yeah, slowing it down,
Yes, he is.
13. Look how much he slides trying to slow that truck down. You do not want to speed in pit road. That will affect, your entire race tonight. You just don't want to make that problem here, because that's just that will change up your entire strategy.
Colin Johnson takes over your race lead now with James McRae um, in P2. And those are the only two who haven't come down pit road yet. They can go about 5 more laps on fuel here, so I imagine that's probably what they're going to try to do. I think that's Colin. He looks like he might be trying to pit here. No, he's just running the bottom. So I imagine that they're probably going to run out this 50 laps here. Only 4 more laps till they get to that marker there. So I imagine that's what they're doing. But once they come down pit road, William McKellar will retake that lead, and he's actually gapped Joe Hudson back here about 2 seconds after those pit stops.
Yeah, great job. You see him ripping the outside lane once again. He's so fast there. Carrying as much speed as he can. He ducks it under the apron, trying to get as much speed, like I said, as he can. And currently in that third position, will lead when these front two end up going into pit road. And right behind him, Joe Hudson, 49 Chevrolet truck, trying to do the best he can.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this works out, because McCullough's only 16 seconds behind Colin, and he's only, he's getting ready to, as we see McRae in pit road here, but he's only 15 seconds behind Colin, and obviously these pit stops are about 41 seconds here, so he definitely will go laps down. You see your race leader down pit road now, Colin Johnston. Ooh.
Oh, so we went in there.
Really slide that car out to get that thing slowed down there.
Yes.
See if he has a penalty.
Big
he
slide.
Does. Black flag, so he did speed in the pits.
Oh no.
Tough call for the 15 machine.
That's something we were talking about. You do not want to speed here. That can change up everything. As McKellar is now going to be our race leader.
And McKellar, Joe Hudson. Now San Filippo up to the P3 spot, and then John Fowler is going to take over that P4 spot. But John Fowler not that far behind that 16 machine, so that's going to be a battle we're going to have to watch here in the next coming laps.
Yeah, he's right there.
The 6 car you see the 6 car Lane Phillips right there. As a lapper, might impede the 16 a little bit here, so it is allowing Fowler to drive up to the 16 right for the time being.
Yeah, John Fowler is gaining. He's not really losing that 16, as he's a little bit of a higher entry, and 16 is kind of sending it a little bit deep in that middle lane, and that's going to allow him to pull away a little bit in the corner. But the 94 hoping to get the run on exit, which doesn't seem to work, as now the 16 is on the inside of Lane Phillips, who we saw once again had that huge incident lap 1, and he's now 3 laps down. So not the race our second place points driver wanted tonight.
You saw the 6. You saw the 16 kind of struggle to get around the 6. Now you see him get around them. But yeah, as you saw kind of Fowler back off. He does have a couple lap older tires than Filippo here. But it is interesting to see that. I think Fowler I think Fowler's learning right now that he did use this stuff up a little bit too much on that first run. I'm going to try to baby it a little bit more and maybe have a little bit more speed towards the latter end of this second run here. You're going to let, Brandon kind of lead the way, and you're going to and hopefully you can reel him in towards the end of this second run.
You just see the 94 kind of watching, I wouldn't say battle, but the 16 trying to get past this lap car. And yeah, the 94, John Fowler, just watching and hoping that this Number 6 machine will slow down the 16 little by little, um, as they're still too wide on the front stretch.
Yeah, I mean, right now with the 16 on the top, it's kind of forcing them to use his tires up a little bit more. You see everybody else electing to run the bottom just because it's the shortest way around the track and all that, and you'll see them kind of at least what I think you'll see is you'll see them kind of run the top when they want to run the faster laps here. Unfortunately, Sanfilippo's forced to kind of run higher than I think he wants to here. That will start to burn his stuff up. Just trying to get around the 6, but cannot get away around them. They're kind of dead even throughout the whole racetrack here.
Now this side-by-side battle for, um, this third position is slowing down Brandon little by little, as he's a 10th off a race leader that last lap, and because he's on the outside of the 6 machine, just trying to get by him. But the 6 is like, no, I'm not gonna let you by that easy. I'm gonna battle you. I may be 3 laps down, but I don't want my race to be over. So the 6 of Lane Phillips trying to do everything he can to not let the 16 by right now, and he's doing a good job, kind of holding him off right now, and yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Well, I wouldn't even say that the 6
Oh,
is trying to battle him. Oh, you see the 94 getting the wall there. But I just think the Lane is just kind of wants to run the bottom, and he's not really going up and squeezing the 16 at all. I just think the 16 just, frankly, just can't get around the 6. It's not that the 6 is trying to race him. It's just that they're just kind of running the same speed. I know Lane is a very respectful driver. I don't think he'd go out of his way to like hold up a lead lap car if he's already laps down here. So
yeah,
I
I
just
don't.
think right now he's running his line. You don't see him really pinching him up or trying to side draft or anything here. I just think right now these cars are just so even that the 16 just frankly can't get around him at this time.
Yeah, I don't think Lane Phillips also, like, I don't think he'd be the person slow down a leader as a lap car, but he definitely is running his own race right now. As the 16 in the outside wall now entering turn 1 and 2. Not that hard, but did rush it a tiny bit. We saw the sparks kind of come out for a second there.
Yeah, the once again the 94 is lost
A lot of
significant
time.
amount of time after he hit that wall there.
See how
I
far
think
they
once
are.
again, I thought maybe he was trying. I thought maybe he was trying to save stuff, and that's why he was content just kind of riding behind. But you've seen the handling fall off again on the 94, and now you're going to see him begin to fall back once again, potentially into the clutches of Brandon Honeycutt back there in that 13 machine.
William McKellar running a new line we've seen tonight as whoa, the 84, huge hit into the outside wall in front of our race leader. Yeah, Bryce Dickinson, huge hit into the outside wall. William McKellar will make his way right by him, but William McKellar was selecting to run the inside line there throughout turn 3 and 4, which is something we haven't seen him really do tonight, as he's been ripping the outside lane. And yeah, the Joe Hudson, a little bit of a faster lap than him last time by. Not by much though, where it's not a big like time difference, but a little bit faster. William McKellar trying to do everything he can though. We see him kind of running back up on the outside lane. So back up to the outside lane on the wall, trying to get as much speed as he can.
Everybody kind of spread out right now. The closest battle is with a P6 spot. You see Ira about half a second behind behind Ron Hollifield here in that 21 machine. But besides that, everybody kind of spread out, trying to run their own race. This is kind of what we expected here at Kansas, with how dynamic and how fast the tires wear out. Also coming in here, this is our halfway stage break, so no caution for the stage, but you will get points accordingly for how well you finish in here. So obviously McKellar will get 10 points, Joe will get 9, Brandon 7, John Fowler 6, and then along the line until we get down to 10th place there. So that will be, we just crossed your halfway stage break here. So all those drivers hopefully happy where they're running right now to get some points here. Right now, as I said, everybody kind of spread out. Now the closest battle now
It's between the 84, I
is
believe.
between Bryce Dickerson and Colin Johnson. Right now is
They're right.
Poland trying to stay on the lead lap here. As you
Yeah.
see McKellar right behind there, trying to lap this 15 machine.
Yeah, the 15, I think, is on newer tires. So you see him pulling away little by little um, from the 75, who is our race leader. So the 15 back on the lead lap. Bryce Dickinson still. We saw him make that hard contact into the outside wall, which got McKellar by. And the 84 though still hanging on to the 75 machine. Trying to get back on that lead lap, or trying to get back to I believe one lap down.
Yeah. Yeah, Bryce currently 2 laps down, so if he does get around your race leader here, that will put him 1 lap down, and in contention for the lucky dog if the 10 and the 15 get involved in something. So right now, if Bryce really needs a caution if he can get around the 75 to keep him a lap down here. And they see he's been able to kind of keep up with him here on. Ooh, almost gets in a wall there, but you also see, I think, you see McKellar starting to lose a little bit of pace from running that top here. See Joe Hudson 0.2 of a second quicker that last lap than your race leader here.
Yeah, Joe Hudson was about 3.5 seconds back, I believe, like 10 laps ago. Now it's cut to almost 2.5 seconds back. So Joe Hudson, we see him crazy fast right now as he's running that top line now. He's has a lap car in front of him just by a little bit, but lap car not really interfering at all. Kind of helping him out just a tiny bit with the draft.
Right now, hopefully this lap car gives him the top that he wants to, but for now, right now, lap car will give him that draft down the straights to help propel him a little bit quicker down the straights here. But the issue with that is if he gets close enough to this lap car, that dirty air will start to affect the handling of the truck here. You're going to see him be forced to run the bottom here, try to get around the 78 of Barry here. Not going to make it work just because, once again, that outside is so dominant here at Kansas. He's going to have to find another way around this lap car.
Yeah, Joe Hudson just lost a couple tenths because of that, as he's now gaining it back in this corner, but did lose quite a bit of time, being stuck on that inside, and had to check up a little bit because of the 78. The 78 still has that right front damage from that wreck we saw lap 1. So 1 caution currently, one yellow we've had so far. Everything else pretty much green. So pretty much, I would call it a green flag race besides that lap 1 yellow, which did collect a lot of our main drivers.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you get compacted like that at the start here, especially with those cold tires, it's easy to make a mistake or accidentally make contact with someone and cause those. But once everybody went green here and everybody kind of started to spread out here, I feel like it's gonna be really hard to get another caution here. Besides maybe someone getting a little upset on those cold tires once we go down the pits once again here. So we're only about a little under, for those drivers who pitted on lap 40, we're only about 11 to 12 laps away from green flag pit stops once again there, and that will be their last stop of the race. But you saw some of the drivers who stretched it out to lap 50, like the McRae, and I think like Colin Johnson, I believe. They still have to go a decent amount of time if they want to go to lap 100 here.
Yeah, very, very interesting as like you mentioned, pit strategy coming very, very soon. And after, watching those last couple pit stops, we saw a mistake by, I believe, the 15 of Colin Johnson. Got a black flag for speeding. So, a lot of these drivers, got to watch out for that. Like William McKellar, currently 2-second, almost 3-second lead. But it just takes one small mistake for that lead to just go away. And he has to watch out for that. Joe, and our second place driver, he doesn't want to make a mistake either, because he'll lose so much time in his race. Could possibly end. So all these drivers trying to really be as careful as they can, both during this green flag run and when pit stops will arrive. So very, very interesting.
Well, right before we get back to potentially get green flag pit stops going, let's go ahead and let our friends over at Scary Strokes send out their message, and let's pay the bills for a little bit here. So we'll be right back from after our words from Scary Strokes here.
Welcome to Scary Strokes, where fun meets fright, where every experience transports you to a world of fun. Play 18 holes of blacklight minigolf in ancient Egypt, a haunted house, and beyond the grave. Step inside our virtual reality arena, where you take control of video games and virtual worlds. Battle robots, shoot zombies, and compete against your friends. Throw your next birthday with our VIP party pack. Our party pros are ready to entertain you with a fright fest you'll never forget. Perfect for an action-packed date night full of flirty fun. Our state-of-the-art arcade has the latest games with the coolest prizes. Be sure to feast on some tasty morsels in the Graveyard Grill. So come on, bring your ghoulish gang over to Scary Strokes, where every experience matters.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Lap 76 complete here in the Sweet Tea Gang Truck Series, and still William McKellar leading now with a 3-second gap here, but we do have a battle for the P7 spot here. Brandon Ish, Ira Kohlhaas trying to go at it here.
Yeah, you see the 29.
It's a battle for P7 position.
Yeah, they're trying to do everything they can. The 29 machine trying to get up to Brandon Ish in the number, or in that all black machine. Brandon Ish, great race by him. Same with Ira Kohlhaas. Both are running decently fast here at Kansas, as once again we are past halfway. And like we said before, we did have that commercial break. Pit stops will be coming up fairly shortly. As like we said, you know, it's about a 40-lap run for these drivers on fuel, and you know we've seen it throughout the night. You know, mistakes on pit road and mistakes on track. So a lot of these drivers have to work on that.
Exactly. I mean, getting down pit road here, especially at Kansas. I don't know what it is about Kansas, but every car I've driven here personally, it feels like the brakes just don't work as well as they would at these other mile-and-a-half tracks. It just, I don't know what it is, if it's the track surface or what it is, but I've always found it difficult to get the car slowed down, whether it's for, you know, slowing down to get it around a wreck or slowing down to get it into the pits. I've always had issues here in every car I race here at this, well, my home track here at Kansas. And, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, it's definitely something you have to think of with that, you know, green flag pit stops coming up within probably the next 5 to 10 laps here. Depending on when drivers want to go and take this strategy. I feel like if your car is driving pretty decently here, you see, oh, McKellar in the outside wall here, coming out of 2.
Oh, he's losing a lot of time. Right as we got off of him, we looked at our second place driver, Joe Hudson. McKellar had a hit into the outside wall out of turn 2. Ended up losing a lot of time. Joe Hudson trying to take that to mine and trying to catch as much as he can. Still nearly 3 seconds back, so not really there to do much, but gain a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's the thing that comes when you run the wall as close as McKellar is here. It's just super easy just to push that car just a little bit too much there, and you're gonna grab the wall there. But you see him, I feel like recovered pretty decently considering how much time he could have lost there. Only lost about a couple tenths, and then still about 30 seconds, depending on where he is on the track here.
Yeah, like lap 82.
Besides that, the closest battle on the track here is between P3 and P4. But lap 82 here, green flag pit stop should be on the way any time now. We saw some drivers come down at around lap 40 here. So green flag pit stop should be coming around any time now.
Yeah, Lane Phillips lap car in between both the 13, who is our 4th place driver, Brendan Honeycutt, and our 3rd place driver, Brandon Sanfilippo. So once again, lap car trying to do everything he can to stay on speed. Lane Phillips definitely has the speed, just was involved, and in that instant where he ended up going around on lap 1. So not the race he wanted. He's really looking for a yellow. He's trying to get back on the lead lap because point standings, this is going to affect it a lot.
No, it definitely is. He just needs to be consistent. You see the 82, Bryce Dickerson bent down pit road. You see the 73, the 78, and the 13.
13 goes around.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he made it down pit road here in time here. No penalty right now, so
he lost a lot of time,
good job
though.
getting that car slowed down here.
He did end up losing a lot of time, taking that big slide. As you see, the 94 also in pit road. Yeah, a lot of drivers now in the pit road. 49 as well, and pit strategy.
See your race leader down pit road as well as McKellar.
And McKellar's in the pit road. 16 as well, 2nd place driver right now. As our 3rd place driver, Ron Hollyfield in the 21 machine, also into a pit road. So very, very interesting so far. As our race leader now, Sam Colas, who stayed out, has not pit under this green flag stop just yet, as he has now taken this race lead. William McKellar still in that 2nd position. Sam Colas, really the only driver who has stayed out pretty much, as everyone else really is kind of bringing it in to a pit road. Lots and lots of stuff going on, though. A lot of drivers exiting pit road.
You see Sam Colas still deciding to stay out here. 42 laps on this run here. You're going to see Fowler try to get around here. You're going to see the 28 just give him the room here. He's obviously a lot faster than him at the time being, and you're going to see him pretty soon here, I would think, come down pit road here. We saw how staying out late affected, helped everybody else, and it didn't really give that much of an advantage trying to overcut here, especially with how bad the tire fall off is here at Kansas. So I can imagine him coming in, and he probably at lap 90, I feel like he's probably trying to stretch the 90 and then having a little 30-lap run here.
I think he's hoping for a yellow, I'm going to be honest. I think he wants that yellow flag to come out because, staying out, like you said, it hasn't worked. We've seen it. It has not worked, and as I believe he's coming in now. Yeah, he is coming in to pit road now as he's going to try to slow it down, which looks like he is. He is going to slow it down. Oh, my goodness! Incident on pit road. I don't know what happened.
It's like Cody DeForge lost it trying to go into the pit road there, and unfortunately looped it. And I didn't know if he didn't see the 28 coming, but kind of just backed it up. And 28 and the 24 going to make contact.
Oof. Yeah, the 28. Huge hit. I wouldn't call it huge, but definitely probably did give him some left side damage. So not something he wanted at all.
No, definitely a tough break for the 28 there, and kind of got caught up in something out of his doing here. But as that happened, he was the last person that needed to come down pit road here, so that will cycle McKellar back out the lead here. Joe Hudson is still around that 3-second mark here, behind here with Sanfilippo, and now Brandon Honeycutt will take over that P4 spot in that number 13 machine.
Yeah, Brandon Honeycutt, great job by him. We've seen him racing, or throughout this race, and you know, he made that you know, he made that mistake entering pit road where he got sideways. We saw him lose quite a bit of time, but definitely coming back little by little here, trying to gain as much speed as he can after that incident he made on pit road. Yeah, so great job by Brandon Honeycutt.
And Honeycutt only about a little over a second behind your third place driver, Filippo, so that just shows how impressive this pace in the car is. Not only did he have a mistake down pit road, his pit stop was longer, about 3 seconds longer than everybody else down pit road. So, and he's still in P4, so that's just an accomplishment in itself that he's sitting here in the top 5 and trying to run down your third place driver, Filippo, now down to under a second behind your P3 driver.
Yeah, Willie McKellar, man, he's so fast right now. He last lap was a tenth faster than our second place driver. Now this lap was 4/10 faster than our second place driver. So very, very interesting with how fast he is right now on track.
Well, now, I mean, you think about it, this is the shortest run of the race here. Only a little 30-lap sprint to the finish here, so you don't have to worry about stretching it, 40, maybe even 50 laps here. So I feel like McKellar feels comfortable that now he can push a little bit harder than he probably was running the whole race here. Doesn't really have to worry about managing his tires as well as he was forced to throughout the run here. And with Joe, I don't know. I think maybe he's just used to running around the same pace and is still running around these 0.3 to 0.5, 31.3s to 31.5s range versus McKellar, who's running, 1s and 2s now. And if that continues to happen, I mean, he's just going to continue to gap Joe throughout the run here.
Yeah, very, very interesting. As you see in front of the 49, we have a couple cars all together. 3 cars. We see the 10, who we saw made that slide earlier in this race. But he's kind of brought it back together, and he's doing pretty good. The 15, though, a little bit of trouble for him. That's Colin Johnston, as he's kind of slow. Not exactly sure what happened, but yeah, running super slow at the moment.
Yeah, none of these guys are for position here. Colin 1 lap down. James Smith 2 laps down. And the 67 of Ty is 3 laps down. So each of these drivers are on their own lap here. So it's interesting to see that they're all kind of together. It's kind of ironic to see that, all these guys on separate laps, but somehow meeting in the middle here with about 35 laps to go here.
Yeah, very, very interesting right now. The 10 doing a great job, though, making his way past the 67. Here, as you see, 67, kind of ripping that wall like Willie McKellar's been doing. And, we've seen him make mistakes. It just doesn't have the speed in tonight's race. And, yeah, but great race for him. At the moment, as he's in 14th, it's not something you exactly want, but it's, at the end of the day, you're still on track, not wrecked out.
Yeah, exactly, Gavin. I mean, sometimes it's just about finishing the race and going out in style, right? I mean, you see McRae and Gattina both off track to decide the park here. We saw McRae with that damage from that first lap wreck and just could never recover from it, and decided that the car just wasn't handling well enough for him to continue the race here. And with Gattina, remember, he got caught up in that first wreck too, and he probably had the worst end of that damage and just decided to park it on lap 2 here, but John Fowler trying to run down Ira Kohlhaas here, and then you also see Brandon Honeycutt trying to run down San Filippo. So a couple of battles that could potentially be ensuing here with in the next, for the last 20 some odd laps here.
Very, very interesting. Ira Kohlhaas, like I said, he always manages to come out of nowhere towards the end of the race. We saw him really out of the top 10 earlier on, but now in the top 5. He always does well in a late race strategy. Yeah, he's in that 5th position, but right behind him, John Fowler is kind of closing in that Chevy machine. So he also has to watch out for the 94 right behind him.
Yeah, John's been running the bottom a lot more this run. We saw that John was kind of running the top almost all race here. Maybe he found something on the bottom that can help him save a little bit of tire here. Or maybe he's just pushing really hard to get up to the 29. Maybe pressure him in a mistake. Right now, this is currently your closest battle on track here. Fowler's close to under half a second behind this 29 machine. And it's closing in pretty quickly.
Yeah, you see them both running the outside lane right near that wall, and you just can see how much Fowler is closing in. As you see on the backstretch, it's just getting closer and closer, that gap. Yeah, he's catching pretty quick here.
Yeah, hopefully John isn't, using his stuff up to get there, because obviously it's one thing to get there and get around and try to pass him, but it's one thing to get around and keep the tires underneath you to keep that spot. If you burn up your stuff trying to get to him, what's the point if you can't, complete the pass and pull away here? So hopefully has a plan of action here to save the tires. We've seen him, start to fall off towards the end of a run here, but you see him right now, very quick here, very quickly catching the 29.
About half a truck length, the difference between those two drivers right now, is he's right there on the rear bumper. And he is going to make the move now on the front stretch, trying to get by as he's now side by side with the 29 machine, but the 78 slow car in front of them, he's going to have to go to one of these lanes as he's going to go to the top right in front of Ira, as the 94 now makes his way by Ira Kohlhaas, now onto the backstretch, clears him. Great job by John Fowler for getting his way up to that 5th position past Ira Kohlhaas.
Yeah, and John did exactly what he needed to do there. As I talked about earlier, how hard it is to pass on the bottom. That's really the textbook way to pass on the bottom. Get in there, drive it in deep, go up there, and just kind of slide up in front of that truck in front of you and kind of force that driver to either really dump you or back out here. But he's going to have to do the same thing with the 78 here. Ira's kind of content running the top here. Now he's going to have a lap car in between him and Fowler.
Yeah, it's the 78. That
Maybe
lap
two
car.
lap cars if you see the 15 trying to make his way around.
There's the 15. Looks like he pit for a new set of tires. We saw him very slow early on. Colin Johnson, I think he might have stayed out that last green flag pit stops that we saw where everyone really went in. I think he stayed out a little bit longer, just hoping for a yellow to get an extra lap back, and didn't go in the way he wanted and ended up having to pit a little bit later. But now on new tires, trying to gain back that time that he lost, and you can see how much faster he is than those other cars.
Yeah, Colin right now has 5-lap tires. Like, just came in down pit road 5 laps ago versus your leaders up here who pitted around 20 laps ago. So he's got 15-lap fresher tires, and that really shows how important those fresh tires are here. And that's what I was talking about throughout the race. That I don't really think that staying out long is going to be the way to go here, just because of how faster you are on these tires. You're going to see Colin jump up there, but now he's 2 laps down doing that strategy, staying out long. And I don't think there's going to be enough time for him to, make up those 2 laps with only 15 to go here.
Yeah, our race leader, Willie McKellar, has a 6-second lead right now on Joe Hudson. As, man, Willie McKellar, dominant racer throughout the night. Definitely the driver to beat. As, man, he's doing a great job running that outside wall right up against the wall. And, 15 laps to go now here at Kansas. And, I think Joe Hudson, it's going to be hard to get up to that 75 unless the 75 makes a huge mistake or there's a yellow flag where we'll get another race restart. But Joe Hudson, 6 seconds back, it's going to be very difficult to try to get up to that 75 machine here with now 14 laps to go.
Right now, the closest battle on track is between the 16 and the 13 here. 13 is about half a second behind the 16. They've been kind of around each other throughout this last run here. But you see Brandon Honeycutt trying to reel in the 16 machine to take that last podium spot with 13 to go here. We'll see if he can get there in time here. About 6-7 tenths behind now, and they're running about equal lap time. Sanfilippo ran a 32.3 versus Honeycutt's 32.2, so about a tenth quicker that lap. On that pace, he will get there in time to maybe make a battle for this P3 spot.
Yeah, very close lap times indeed. Yeah, and William McKellar is also, running very similar lap times to our second place driver of Joe Hudson. They both ran 32.2s last lap. So Joe Hudson, that's not going to help you catch that's not going to help you gain the time on a race leader running equal laps as it's going to be very difficult for the 49 machine.
Yeah,
as he
McKellar
did just
and
said.
Joe only 3/1000ths of a second apart, so that's definitely not enough to get Joe to the leader in time to make a race there. So
Joe Hudson just did set a faster lap last time by from William McKellar, but it's just not enough. It's going to be very hard unless there is like I said, the 75 either has a race incident, whether he gets in the wall or maybe even gets a little bit loose and loses a lot of time, or we have a yellow as he's in the wall right as I say that. Little bit of commentator's curse right there. Luckily not a lot. Doesn't look to be losing a lot of time, is actually Joe Hudson losing a little bit of time. I think Joe Hudson might have gotten a hold of that wall as well. So, yeah, possibly an incident as well by our second place driver. Not 100% sure on that, but definitely an incident from our 75 leader right now.
yeah, I mean, that just shows how hard these guys are pushing to stay ahead or try to catch, right? I mean, you saw them both at least make some type of mistake on the same corner of the same lap, so that just shows right there how hard McKellar's pushing, how hard Hudson's pushing to try to catch or / pull away from the driver in front and behind. And I mean, that just shows how difficult it is to drive these trucks with the tires this wore out here. I mean, almost 30 laps on these tires, but so close to being done with this race.
Yeah, so close. Lap 113 of 120, less than 10 laps to go here. And yeah, this race, like I said, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting here at Kansas. 8 laps to go, 7 to go next time by at the line. Yeah, this race is coming into a close very, very fast.
Coming to 7 to go here. And McKellar really just needs to set sail and just kind of run his own pace here. I mean, he'd have to have a huge mistake out of himself or a caution to bring anybody back into this picture here. And that's exactly what he needs to do is he needs to just worry about running his own pace here, setting a kind of a lap time he wants to run here, or just worry about keeping the car clean here. He's got a 5-second lead. That's a pretty big gap to manage here, and with 6 to go here now, he just needs to keep it clean here. No jinxies. If he wrecks, that's not my fault. But he just needs to keep the truck clean for this last 6 laps, and I feel like he's gonna walk it off here.
Yeah, Joe Hudson. Yeah, he might be gaining, a little bit, but it's not gonna be enough. Not even close to enough. So Joe Hudson really hoping on a mistake from that 75 machine or a yellow to come out. With now 5 laps to go here. So very, very close. Our closest battle on track right now is for a 6th position. Is between Ron Hollyfield and Ira Colas. Ron Hollyfield in that 21 machine. You see Ira right in front of him in that 29 machine. Ira has had a great race so far. He was in that top 5 position. Did get passed by John Fowler not too long ago and is now back in that 6th position, but he is now under attack with that 21 machine of Ron Holyfield.
Yeah, the wheels have kind of started to fall off for Ira at the end of this race. Got passed by the 94. Now under attack by the 21. The 21's been catching him at a pretty decent pace here. We saw Ron did run slightly a slower lap here, but that's just only because he got in that dirty air, the 29. He's in that kind of dirty air range where if he rides behind the 29, it is going to impact the way this car drives here. So if Ron wants any chance at getting back up there, he's going to have to move around, try to find a different line. Whether that's just a little bit lower than what I was running, or maybe just even trying to bottom, maybe here in 3 and 4 here. You will get a little bit of a draft down the straights here, but besides that, that dirty area is going to really hurt the way that truck drives down the straight here. But he's only got 2 laps to try to get it done here.
Yeah, now 3 laps to go as the 75 getting ready to take that 2 laps to go. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting here as he's coming to the line. So 2 laps to go this time by for our race leader, William McKellar, in that 75 machine.
And McKellar doing has really showed what it takes to be dominant here. I figured that with how hard he pushes and how much he's burned up the tires, especially at, last week, he looked like the dominant car, and then the wheels kind of fell off when he just pushed so hard that he literally got lapped on pace from Joe Hudson. So, but I guess today he figured out the strategy of, being able to push that truck just enough to where he can still gap the field and keep that truck underneath him. But now going to the white flag for William McKellar.
William McKellar, such a dominant race, led the most laps tonight, and you just see him week in and week out. He's up there each race, leading laps. Led laps last week at Bristol, now leading laps in. Now going to get the win here at Kansas as it's coming out of turn 3 and 4 for the final time. The 75 Chevrolet Blue Chrome machine is going to win it and bring it on to victory lane. William McKellar, a race winner here at Kansas. Man, what a great race for that driver right there, folks. Man, great job by him. Great race.
It's a little battle for this P6 spot. I think Ira will keep the spot away from this 21, but still close. Coming out of 3 and 4 here. 21 does not have enough of a run here, and Ira's going to take home that P6 spot here at Kansas.
Yeah, Ira got it just barely.
Good to bring it home here for Ira. He was in a really dangerous spot to lose another spot here. You remember he lost that top 5 position here. I don't know what happened to that truck there, but not the finish that he probably expected to have here. But you see McKellar in the grass burning it down here. And in the grass here, down the tri-oval here, you're gonna see him start to do some little victory donuts.
Man, great job by him. Yeah, it's great. He you see there, started 3rd, finished 1st, started 2nd row. Great job qualifying by him. And then led 105 laps out of 120, which is great job by him. Crazy amount of laps led by that driver right there in the 75 machine. William McKellar, once again, our race winner here at Kansas. That is how you get it done. Yeah, great job by him.
Yeah, McKellar did an outstanding job at leading, 105 out of the 120 laps. So, that's really hard to do at any track here in any series, right? You think about that, and you think about like the dominating performances like Martin Truex when he led, what was it, 400 and it was like 300 and some laps out of the 400 in the Coke 600. Larson this past weekend at Bristol led every lap but like 15, and it's just, it's really hard to do. It's super dominant for McKellar here.
Yeah, still burning it down on the line, and man, this is great job by him. I believe this is his first points race win of the season. We saw him win the Clash at Kern County, and I'm 99% sure this is his first points race win here this season here at Kansas. So great job by William McKellar.
McKellar finally getting that win under his belt, that 4 points, and it's definitely got to feel good for him. we can double check on that real quick. And as we do that, we'll go through your unofficial list results. Obviously, we see William McKellar, your winner here at Kansas. Joe Hudson, P2. Brandon Sanfilippo is going to bring home that last podium spot here. Brandon Honeycutt in that P4 spot. John Fowler, a great top 5 run for him. Ira Kohlhaas, P6. Ron Hollifield in his debut here in the SSR Truck Series, P7. Brandon Ish, P8. Sam Kohlhaas, P9. And James Smith rounds out your top 10.
Our 11th place finisher here at Kansas was Colin Johnson at 15 machine. Behind him in 12th, Bryce Dickinson. In 13th, Barry Stevens. 14th, Ty Dickinson. 15th, Lane Phillips, who is our second place second place in points this season. So not a great race for him in 15th, but still managed to finish the race. In 16th behind him is Cody DeForge. In 17th, James McRae. 18th, Joey Gattina. And I believe John Ross did not start this race. So our last place finisher is Joey Gattina here at Kansas. And man, once again, what a race for all these drivers. 120 laps long race, and to pretty much bring it green from the lap one incident is impressive from each and every one of these drivers. So props to every single one of them because they got it done.
Everybody did a great job here, but we're going to go ahead and talk to your third place finisher here, Brandon Sanfilippo, up in the booth. Hey, Brandon, it's Christian and Gavin up in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, I do.
Well, pretty solid race for you. Kind of quiet day for you. You started up in the P4 spot here and kind of just ran up there in the top 4, top 5 all race. So walk us through that. Walk us through your race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a quiet day for a good day. Um, it was really just, I guess, spread out race, and you had green flag pit stops. So I think that's where a lot of time was either made or lost. So luckily, my pit stops entry was pretty clean, and then I started noticing that the top later in the run was a little bit faster and didn't seem really to wear my tires much faster. So I slowly started to shift up to there late in the runs. But man, William and Joe, they were just rocket fuel tonight. So I don't think it was any catching them. So I'm happy with third. I believe that pushes me into the next playoff round. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's something definitely to look at here. You've done a pretty good job in this first round and around the 16 points racing right now. So and now it looks like you're fourth in points right there. Only 26 points below Joe, who's leading points right now. So I do believe that with that, it should lock you in on points going into the next round. So great job for you. But Gavin, any questions for him?
Like I pretty much sums up what Christian said. I mean, great race by you. You had the speed all race long, and congrats on that third place finish. You're up there towards the front earlier on, and once again, congrats on the podium, man.
Hey, appreciate it, guys.
Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out? Any friends and family watching at home? Any sponsors you want to shout out?
Yeah, just all the friends and family who watch every week in and out. Appreciate you guys. San Flippo Solutions, DEI race team, everybody that came out tonight. I think we all finished uh, top 10, so that was a nice showing and moving on in the playoffs. So, yeah, looking forward to it. And, of course, thank you guys for putting on an awesome broadcast. And John, Joe, Russell, everybody who takes a part in this league.
Well, once again, a great race for you, great run for P3, and luckily locked in the playoffs next season. So next week, Talladega. So luckily you don't have to worry about that as much. You can go in there and have some fun. But I'm going to let you go and go celebrate with your friends and family, and hopefully we can talk to you up in Victory Lane next week.
All right, hopefully. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Have a great rest of the night. That was Brandon Sanfilippo, your P3 driver. And let's go ahead and talk to Joe Hudson, your second place finisher here. Hey, Joe, it's Christian and Gavin up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, guys, how are you?
We're doing pretty good. Probably not as good as you, but a solid P2 run here. It looks like you and McKellar were kind of the two guys to beat here. But it looks like McKellar just couldn't really figure out a way to get back up to him. You were kind of up there within the 3-second range there, and then after that last green flag pit stop, you really saw the 75 get away there. But walk us through the race. Walk us through maybe some pit strategy, and just walk us through how you thought that race went.
Shoot, man, I'm gonna have to go out and buy a new fire suit. He beat us so bad. Mine don't fit anymore. The tail end's gone. He put a whipping on us. But for me, I mean, it was a good point tonight. I was hoping to stay close enough with him, and maybe he would stay out, and uh, I could maybe win the stage because last week I didn't get very many stage points, but I won the race. But he pitted one lap after I did, and I just couldn't keep up with him. I mean, he had it. It was his night, and we were just chatting, and I was like, man, I was waiting on you to speed or spin out, but he ran a great race, and a lot of credit to him. I mean, it was a certified Nick Saban butt whipping.
Yeah, definitely. McKellar found something that you guys couldn't figure out here. It looked like you're on the top. I figured that the top would burn off the tires a lot more, but as you talked about, what was it last week? That the tire fall off doesn't really happen here. At least at that last week at Bristol, you said the tires didn't fall off as much as you wanted it to. So maybe do you think maybe that was the case here at Kansas as well?
There was a pretty good fall off. I mean, we were running 32.2s, and after with new tires, you could run 30, high 30s, low 31s. So there was about a second and a half fall off, but just not as much for William as it was for the rest of us. I have a monitor here. I can keep the lap times, and I can match him every now and then after we got a few laps on the tires, but I had nothing for him. I mean, but second, I guess if you can't win, that's a good night. We'll move on to next week. Glad we had a few you guys here tonight. So overall, we'll just have to take it and go back to work.
Yeah, with that good second place finish tonight, I think that'll lock you into the next round there. So, depending, I'm not gonna say yes or no because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but that should lock you in the next round into the round of 12. So, but going into Talladega, how do you feel about that?
Oh, we might as well roll the dice there because it is, it's a crapshoot there at those places. You just, if you can stay out of trouble and just put yourself in the right spot, it's just rough. You can be doing everything right and somebody get loose, and I mean, you're just it's. I'll be glad to get that one over with.
Yeah, Talladega is always a hectic race wherever we go here, whether it's in the Cup, Xfinity, or Truck Series. I mean that's kind of the true form of Talladega. But before we let you go, anybody want to shout out any sponsors, friends, and family watching at home, or anybody?
As always, my wife Amanda, my daughters Allison, Elizabeth, and Mariana. They let me come down here and have some fun. All the guys at Complete Motorsports, a little tough luck for Lane and Cody tonight, but we were all in there digging, trying to support each other and find a little more speed. Of course, everybody here at the league does such a great job, and man, you guys on the broadcast are y'all knock it out of the park every week. So I just thank everybody that's involved, and we'll see you at Talladega. That's just I'm here in Birmingham, so it's just down the road.
Well, we definitely appreciate the kind words, and well, I guess you talked about rolling the dice. Maybe we could talk to you in Victory Lane next week.
If it comes up good, it would. Well, it's just got to be in the right spot at the right time. I mean, that draft is such a equalizer. People that are 12, 15 seconds back like tonight be right up your tailpipe next week.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's going to be a definitely interesting race, but we're going to go ahead and let you go up there, celebrate with your friends and family, and like I said, hopefully we can talk to you next week.
All right, you guys have a great week.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks. Bye.
And that was Joe Hudson. Always love talking to him up in the booth. But that was your P2 finisher of Joe Hudson. And lastly, got your race winner, the man who pulled out all the stops tonight and really dominated here. We're gonna talk to your race winner, William McKellar. Hey William, it's Christian and Gavin up in HPTV booth. You got a copy?
I got you. You guys got me?
Yeah, I got you, man. And what a dominating win here. And I guess first thing I'll say, it's probably a relief to get that first points win under your belt here, and definitely in a dominating fashion here today. But just walk us through the race. Walk us through maybe what you thought for pit strategy, and just walk us through what you thought that race was.
Well, I mean, to start, it feels good to finally get a points paying win at a real track. I mean, like I got the only win I have in the trucks this year is that controversial finish at the All Star race. The only win I have in Cup is at Daytona, so it's nice to be able to say, I can come out to an actual track and drive. But I tell you what, Joe Hudson had me worried the entire first stint on this race. I could not break away until I want to say like the last 5 laps of the run, and then he hit pit road first. I'm like, oh crap, he's pitting early. This is not going to go well. I gotta go now. And then going from oh crap, this is all going wrong to talking myself down like, hey, you can just, if you're going to hit pit road this time, slow down. You speed on pit road. You've thrown away 3 wins this year already just off pit road speeding penalties. Just slow down and it'll be fine. And fortunately, I came off pit road. By the time I got back up to speed, we were the exact same distance apart that we were when he came down pit road. I'm like, okay, we might be able to do something. And it just, I don't know what we did different. I was talking with Joe while we were in the waiting room, and we were talking. What do your tires look like? What do your tires look like? Well, this was my steering ratio. This is my steering ratio. Talking about what the, what our, how we had our trucks hooked up. What our wear was, and everything was the same. So we were trying to figure out, what was I doing different. And to be honest, going back and watching some of the replay here, riding along with Joe, I don't know what I was doing different because, man, I know that I was pulling away, but he was mad fast all night long.
Well, yeah, sometimes I guess it's just that teeny little bit of a difference, whether it's like steering angle or throttle position. I mean, Kansas definitely one of the more unique mile and a halfs here, where you really can run the top and get away with it here. But um, Gavin, you got anything for him?
I mean, once again, congrats on your win. We know how you really wanted a win that really counted towards the points, and you finally got it done here at Kansas. And like Christian said, I want to congratulate you on getting it done, man.
Yeah, thank you. No, this feels great. I I wrestle a lot with wondering, am I actually decent enough at this? I you guys have seen me do it so many times. If there's a choke artist award at the end of the season, we all know who's winning it. That would be me. And so when it comes to getting it done, when you make it down the last 20 laps, what starts going through my mind is, all right, man, how you gonna screw this up this time? And it's nice to every now and then to just get that win to remind you, hey, if you calm down, you get out of your own head, you can actually put a couple laps together and make something decent.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, kind of speaking from experience myself, me and you racing the Cup Series together. I won that race at Daytona, and didn't win until the end of the regular season there. And I got that win at Michigan, and at least for me, it was a big confidence boost. Right, you saw me go out there and do really well at Darlington. So I definitely think that's something that's going to be good for you, right? It's going to be a big confidence boost going in to the next round. And obviously, we didn't even talk about this. This locks you into the next round by winning. But not only that, I think with how consistent you've been through this round of 16, you would have been locked in on points anyways. But with this round, with this win automatically locking you in, how do you look at Talladega next week?
Well, I don't know exactly what the points are going to look like going into Talladega. I know I'm good at super speedway racing, but Talladega can be a little bit of a crapshoot, and I'm I don't have any teammates, so that's going to be something different for me. I know that when I won Daytona, I had Greg O'Berry and John McNeil to really lean on for that entire race. But when it comes down to it, being a lone wolf at a super speedway, you've got to figure out how to make friends without being able to talk to anybody uh, over the course of the race. So looking at Talladega, I'm just kind of hoping to survive, and if I can get a decent point stage, just get a top 10, top 10, decent stage points. I think I'll be all right.
Well, I definitely think that's a great plan of action for you because coming from someone who in the Cup Series doesn't have a lot of people to lean on, I think that's probably the best strategy to go forward through is not go for a win because you don't want to put yourself in a bad spot to maybe make some enemies going into the playoffs, but go in there getting a solid finish, just helping maybe pad the cushion there going in next round is probably a good thing to do. But before we let you go, anybody you want to shout out, any sponsors, any friends or family watching at home, or really anybody you want to thank for this win?
Well, number one, I got to thank my wife for letting me do this. We got a 4-month-old. So she's very generous. Looking after him while I come out and pretend to be Bill Elliott. A few nights a week. So I got to thank her. She is the champion of champions. I got to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. These are a ton of fun to go back and watch and listen to. The day after, and I got to thank John Ross. I got to thank Russ Martin and Ron Luzy for adminning as well as they do. Those guys are absolutely fantastic. Um, trying to think. I think that's just about everybody. So I think most importantly of all, I got to thank God above.
Well, definitely appreciate the kind words. But yeah, uh, once again, congratulations on this win. First, points paying win here. But before we wrap everything up, we're gonna let you go here and celebrate with friends and family, or amongst whoever you want to, and maybe we can talk to you in Victor Early next week at Talladega.
I look forward to it.
Ready? Have a great rest of the night. That was your race winner and William McKellar there. What a dominating win for him and Gavin. I mean, there's not really a more dominating way you can win there. I mean, leading every lap, but what 15. So I mean, what a dominating win for McKellar here, and uh, one of the more dominating wins we've just seen in the Sweet Tea Gang Truck Series here.
Yeah, what a great job for McKellar and much all the drivers. 120 laps. Pretty much racing green besides that first lap one yellow, and to learn from that mistake. Lap one to finishing this race under green. Bringing it to going the rest of the way green is what I'm trying to say. It takes a lot of skill and talent by all these drivers, and they do have it, and it's always impressive watching them each week. And once again, congrats on McKellar. He was the driver to beat tonight, and great job by all the other drivers.
Yeah, definitely a great job for everybody in the field here. But I think it's about time to wrap everything up here. So once again, got to give a huge shout out to John Ross, Russell Martin Jr., and Ron Lousy for putting on the league. They do a heck of a job in the background, getting everything put together here and allowing us to come out here and try to put on a show for you guys at home. Got to give a huge shout out to Sweet Tea Gang, Anything EC, Mace MCRL, Race Memorabilia, um, diecast, and all the sponsors there. Anything you see once again, um, for everything they do for the league. But once again, from everybody over here, from me and Gavin up in the booth, and everybody over here for the HVTV team, we appreciate you guys coming out here and watching the broadcast. But we're gonna go ahead and call it a night here. So once again, thank you guys so much for coming out, and you've been watching the SSR Sweet Tea Gang Truck Series on HVTV. Hope everybody has a good night, and we'll see you guys soon.